How's it going? It's Man Tomorrow here. I really don't do midday streams, especially not on Saturdays. But it seems I got 2 hours to kill, and I might as well kill it here. We talk to you guys. Since I'm in layover, apparently showed up on time for my appointment, but Amazon doesn't seem to have any doors to unload me on time with. So I will spend this next $150 and I'm going to be paid for this 2 hour layover with you guys. All right. I've been asked this question. And again, what's going on, XC? What's going on, Sexy Red TV? Reactions. All right. I'm going to tell you how simple this is. And it's going to be so simple that people are going to miss it. Again, what I'm saying is not wrong. And this is what happens to a bunch of unfathered individuals who get a hold of this so called manosphere content. All right. So I was asked the question. Asked a question by a very young ass individual about how to approach this. I'm like, if you're willing to listen, I'll just give you all the answers up front. If you're willing to listen. But if you're looking for BS information and things to try in the meantime, then you're going to have the same life outcomes of those individuals. Because remember, all these people have bad outcomes. They all do. That's what's normal. Normalizes most of these dudes, not married, don't have good outcomes, don't have custody of their kids, don't have an intact family household, don't have any of that stuff. But they're trying to teach you about the opposite sex from the standpoint of having the assumption in mind that they're all hoes from the first beginning, which is an improper place to actually start your actual educational process. Why would you start your educational process about women from the worst group of women out there that you're not even supposed to be running into anyway? All right? Not hard. So I'm like, look, you're a very young guy. You grew up in front of social media as a younger guy. What's going on, Roger Spice? You as a younger guy, you know what the social media is like. You've seen your friends who was in middle school, in high school, having all. Hold on a second. Come on, man. The moment I started live streaming, they want to give me a door. What kind of shit is that? But hold on a second. Let me still see if you can hear me. Because sometimes when I take a phone call, it sometimes disconnect my Bluetooth. So let's see if it's still, my Bluetooth is still connected. Yes, it is still connected. Can y'all still hear me all right out there? Hit a one in the chat if you can still hear me. What's going on, Deion Davis? What's going on, Soft Sands? Chuckle Igwe? Hit a one in the chat if you can still be able to hear me. As clear as you could before I muted and answered this phone call. All right. So the problem is with this individual and the SIP rep based information that he got is like, look, situation is the people who you've seen in high school have a lot of access to these older individuals, correct? I'm like, you are aware of that. If you're not aware of that, let's start this thing down with making sure that you understand the situational awareness that you're currently in. Because it's kind of hard to give people the information if they don't have a situational awareness of how things currently work. So I'm like, whether he wanted to know it or not, these women have had access to tons of guys in their DMs and all this kind of stuff ever since they were online, maybe 13, 14, before they hit 18. And once they hit 18 years old, they're going to get access to the men with the three C's that you as a young guy at 18 years old, you're not going to have. The three C's are a car, a career, and a crib. All those things a normal 18-year-old is not going to have access to. And yes, most older men flaunt very basic shit in women's faces. And that's how those young ass women end up with those older, experienced dudes until they start to know any better and move on to other people. So I'm like, this is a situation that you are at 18 years old. You have to understand this up front. Because if you don't understand this up front, you're going to keep trying to take shortcuts by listening to game coaches or dating coaches or relationship experts. All these people don't have relationships to show off, by the way. But these are going to be the people who's going to sell you on the actual ability to find quick solutions for your actual problem and predicament. But the information is the same. All of it you're not going to be able to engage on or engage with because most of this stuff is false information that you've not seen demonstrated on tape anywhere. And no, I don't have to create my own dating system in order to critique bad information. Because see, a lot of people see illicit ways to make money, regardless of truth, as something that is to be protected within the actual black environment. I see it as abject fraud, like I'm supposed to look at it as abject fraud. Correct? So I'm like, okay, Mr. 18-year-old, now that you understand all of that, what should you be concentrating on at 18 years old? I'm like, dude, you should be concentrating on not a woman's opinion right now. You should actually be concentrated on trying to get yourself in an established format and manner. That means going out to get some skills of some sort. I'm like, dude, you're 18 years old. There's nothing stopping you from going to a 3-week training in your area, becoming a dental hygienist. Once you get a year of that experience, you probably start off at anywhere from 18 to $25 an hour, depending on the actual area that you're in. Because remember, you're not bagging groceries at the grocery store or none of that stuff. You're actually going out here for a tangible skill up front so that way you can be able to build your economic ground floor beneath you while you're quote unquote living with your parents. When you're living with your parents, the last thing that needs to be on your mind is trying to get in contact with these women out here. Again, very clear, very concise information. No matter look, those people you're going to get back to them anyway. And you need to be very conscious of what these people are doing out here when you're actually out here trying to get yourself together. How many people who just don't really give a damn about you at all, period. And you so again, totally individual. Now, this is where you're most vulnerable at this point. Once you start to get your money, you're going to want to come out here and you want to kind of feel yourself a little bit. You want to kind of go stunt. So go out here, you're going to go try to live in an area of town that you shouldn't be trying to live. You're going to be trying to get yourself a car that you shouldn't be trying to drive right now. All to impress people who already have access to people with the three C's. Again, women are not stupid. They're not dumb. They have a whole bunch of choices and options from you, people in your age range and group, on up to people who are probably 30, 40, 50 years old trying to get access. This is why if you do have the money that you have, use that money and at that time that you do have, try to get yourself in a better position. Remember, this is a starting job. A job you can get at 18. You can choose to be on this job for 3 or 4 years, or you can decide to go to school for something else. But at least you have an economic ground form where you could be able to produce. It seems that the actual second phone call that I get is when the actual Bluetooth start acting up. All right, there we go. Hold on a second. Let me look at this audio again. Hopefully, don't nobody call me in the next couple of seconds. All right, there we go. All right, so is it coming in clear now? It should be now because I went off and I went back in. Stream that, so it should be clear right now. And the one in the chat if I'm clear right now. All right, cool. Somebody look. Yes, and I did give him those three options, Cedric Webb. I did give him those three options. Strong whack word. Somebody look. That's one way to look at it. And he chose a dental hygienist shit because it was easier for him. Blah blah blah, whatever. That's just the way it is. Give them the options, and then they go take the option up, no matter whatever the option. So I'm like, look, you're gonna be here still 18. You're still gonna figure out whether you want to go to school and all that stuff. You get to figure out right away. It's best choose an option, go with it. Know what the path is, know what the situation is, and execute immediately. Because the longer you don't execute, you're gonna be like the rest of these people your age. And it's gonna seem like these people went off to the military, realized they're doing this, that, and the third. They're gonna seem like they're way ahead of you. They're actually not ahead of you at all. You're, you're way ahead of them. So I'm giving you exactly how this works. That's all I'm saying. And again, this is a guy that's in a so-called quote unquote two-family household. But he has enough sense to reach out. Because his dad gave him some bullshit ass information. His dad's trying to hook him up with his friends and all this type of other shit. So that way he can get back out there and start messing with these women. I'm like, let me give you a better plan, something that you can execute on. Again, this stuff isn't even that hard. But when you have people who haven't been through it, and then you have bad parents that's trying to give them bad access to things for their benefit, not really the child's benefit, that stuff turns into a problem. So I'm like, look, you're still not all to be worried about women at this point. Because you're going to start listening to a lot of people, and they're going to start listening to all this masculinity porn.
like the Andrew Tates and all this kind of other shit. So now you're gonna have all this. You, you could be on a productive path of getting yourself together and not being hooked up with another level of codependence due to your inexperience, or you could be doing the right thing and not really having all that experience with all these bad options. So that way, experiencing things with these bad options become your actual only experience, which is even worse because a lot of these people have actually um, turned their life in for these bad options. They haven't even tried to get proper experience. Their only experience was the next thing close to them. Their only experience was cold approaching anything that had enough chromosomes to be a woman, and that's how they got their quote unquote experience. However, at the end of the day, you're an 18-year-old guy. I'm not even going to set you up for an actual downfall like that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to create a actual pretense of false actual codependency if I give you that bad information. That's what this cake is. So what you do is you save these people from the cake before they even start to even get their first bite of the cake from these dudes who are so-called players and all this kind of other dumbass shit that is actually undemonstrated. Yes, my older cousins at 50 years old, right now, they thought they was running shit too back in the day. Turned out they weren't running a damn thing. They just dropped out of school. They had basic access to a car that wasn't even theirs, and they was trying to stun on that in front of people who didn't know anything. Or you could just tell this 18-year-old exactly what I told him. Somebody look, you're gonna want all this experience, but it's gonna be false experience. You're gonna do two different things. But going to the gym and kind of all that kind of stuff, that comes with the territory of being a younger individual. Somebody look, you got two options. You could be in this highly competitive marketplace, or you're going to engage in worst options imaginable and available because you don't have any experience. And if you don't have any experience, you're going to listen to bad information. So that way you're going to get access to them bad options that everybody else got access to. That's something that you shouldn't even be trying to do at all. Period. Skip out on all of that. Again, these people are trying to create a level where they're actually needed forever. Just like just like my older cousin was trying to create a level of false ass codependency the same way with me. Trying to get me hounded out on these crazy ass motherfucking options, and all of a sudden I have to engage in bad options, end up being in worse situations that I'm not gonna get myself out of. Because here's the thing. These older women ain't stupid. They're not about to level you up so that way you can walk off. They're trying to keep your young ass there. Right? So again, or these people get caught up in the manosphere and thinking that they know, about the order here, and when the man walked out or walked out of the house and how the woman took welfare over an actual producing man, all that type of shit, you just skipped out of. I keep telling you guys, a two-parent household is is only good when the actual mother and father care about the actual outcome of the son. If the mother nor father or both don't care about the access to the son, none of that shit matters about a two-parent household. Period. It doesn't even matter at all. So fathers, so our truth, probably might want to they can find our truth. So again, he's still trying to get his productivity straight. So that way he can get out of his mom's house, be able to get his own place, so that way he's not codependent among these masculine avatars that don't provide anything. Because here's the thing. Here's how these actual people come in and they actually prey on the youth of the individual. They think that because you got answers to these so-called fucking women, they can start listening to you on other things. Because even though they're not even qualified to talk about women or anything else, they start listening to these dudes about politics and everything else. Then you started listening to these people about advice about everything else, even though they didn't even know about women, because you felt that they were such a trustworthy individual. Now you're listening to their advice on everything else, which is crazy. And you don't even know because now you're being dragged along by your inexperience. Again, and just being dropped in these different places. Because listening to these people complaining about these women ain't gonna get you access to women. Period. Because regardless of what these people say, you don't get access to a quality woman without your finances straight. If you got access to sexual activity without having your finances straight, chances are that woman's not going to be there for a very long period of time. And if these people are trying to tell you about these bitch rich scenarios, about how they got all this access to all these quality women, just ask these individuals, well, where are these women at now? If you have so much quality access to a woman, how come you didn't get access to a Walmart billionaire? How come you didn't get access to no actual superstar? See, giving this dude all this advanced knowledge, I'm not trying to create an actual codependent person. I'm trying to create an independent person who actually knows how this stuff works, can actually engage in these actual things. Don't try to spend it like getting improper access to anything. So that way you know how things work. But see, most of these people in this space, they don't want to teach these people how these things work. They want to fill these dudes' head with a bunch of dogma that they're going to exercise in their normal life because they want to close that inexperience to experience gap. And that's exactly how these young ass dudes get radicalized into thinking that women owe them shit. Because they listen to these dudes get their shit off behind these protective paywalls and all of these rage rallies. Then all of a sudden these dudes actually think that, you know what? I can supplement my lack of productivity and my lack of ability to survive, and I can just complain about women now. And that's how that stuff works. So they create a false level of dependency to have you coming back to them for the cake every day. Because I'm telling you, the cake don't lead you to the women. It never has led you to the women. It haven't led you to the women. No, they can't even be on the panel with women. Have you ever seen what happened within this space when a person actually gets on an actual panel with a woman that they've never met before? All of a sudden, they want to see whether she's married and what her history is and what her background is. Just all this type of BS that normally happens when dudes actually get access to an actual woman, they run them the fuck off with all these dumbass questions that don't mean shit. And how and that's how this stuff is created. And this dude's 18 years old. You don't know what the fuck. But in this codependency, it is our job to make sure that these people have these answers. And if these people don't have these answers, they're gonna end up in the hands of Ron Wheels and BGS, right? And you know, a piece of shit like Elliot Movement isn't gonna fucking tell them the truth, right? Oh, I'm trying to through lessons of a non-custodial father number 54. Dude, it's not trying to get you to skip out on all these fucking problems, but I am. And you got to want to see these things in. You have to. It is incumbent on everybody to stop the tough nigga from tough nigga fighting. So now guess what happens when you're economically or emotionally dependent upon creating this codependent system where you're not a leader in regular life. So now you have to create this pseudo intellectual online life where you're just misleading people on purpose. All for the simple ability for your ass to be looked up to or by anyone. It's really a bad deal. It's a bad deal all the way around. Because even though this dude's 18 years old, at least he has sense enough to reach out and get an alternate opinion. Will he turn around and still end up in these dating coaches' hands? Maybe. But at the end of the day, it isn't even about the information. It is clearly about why you sought this information in the first place. Because guess what? You can know all the answers to the questions, but if you have an execution problem, more information is not going to solve an execution problem. I have to let them know that. All this stuff that I say is 100% true. However, if your ass isn't going to execute on any of this information, the only thing you're going to do is brag on this information like you have the answers to everything to someone else while not executing. Again, you have to execute on this information in order for it to be worthwhile. Yes, you cannot supplant this actual information with some other this nonsense. Because yes, you're gonna buy all these programs, you're gonna do all these things, you're gonna go through all this stuff, you're going to keep going through the actual ringer over and over again with these bad experiences, or you can just skip out on all this stuff, get your money up, and deal with better people from better circumstances. Because see, people can't tell you about the better circumstances. Why? They have not better circumstances to feed you into at the end of the day. The only circumstances that they have to feed you into is the failed system that's already here. They can't tell you about building a social circle or a social network of actual individuals. They can't do that. They're too consumption based to even allow that type of bullshit to go on. And I'm just telling you, that this complaint about Keisha shit, it doesn't even get you to the actual one. It makes you a permanent resident of their actual school, where there is no graduation rate because no one gets to graduate from that school. Everybody is taking the same classes over and over again the moment there's a live stream. So now you codependent upon live streams to live, not lived experiences to live. See how that works? Now you listen to people online complain about circumstances that you're never going to end up in as if that's actual experience with the actual circumstance itself. That's not how that works. But there are so many men in this nation, there's so many men in this world who is so interested in making sure you walk into these actual problems that you can't trust these people with shit. You can't trust them with anything. Because at the end of the day, they're codependent. But currently, that's where we are. See how easy that was? I was trying to create a codependent actual stream where I endlessly have to lie about the history of how things work around here. You can just give people the actual information, and if their actual value system take you to actually not really getting your stuff together, wanting to take shortcuts, you got to let that stuff take hold, man. You got to let that stuff take hold on its own. Because at the end of the day, giving these people the wrong type of information and watching these people going into abject failure, that's some whole ass shit. That's something that no man should be doing. There's something that, but see, a lot of these people, they don't want to uphold minimum standards. They would rather people fall into situations that they shouldn't be in, wasting 13, 14, 15 years of their life while they figure stuff out, rather than give them the correct answer up front. My grandfather gave me the correct answers up front, showed me examples, correct answers up front. Went to my first base, chief master sergeant. Took me to the dorms, explained to me how these dudes end up in the dorm at 30 and 40 some years old. Some of them are there because their wife left them, but the grand majority of those people were there in the dorm on meal card, making no money. Why? They couldn't afford to live by themselves after they had a kid with the wrong type of woman. Again, clear and concise information is what is actually needed for the actual youth out here. But you can't give information to the youth because they're too busy wanting to feel better about their circumstances. But wanting to feel better is one thing. Knowing damn well that you can't provide any value and then keep acting like you are providing value, that's a whole nother BS thing all to itself. And then you have to make these people explain their processes and procedures. You have to make these people explain their actual outcomes. Like I said, I can't wait to explain myself. Clear and concise information, not really that hard to follow. And guess what? And I'll say this stuff to him like I said it. Like, look, I would say this shit in front of your parents. Same fucking thing. At the end of the day, you gotta have the correct information and you gotta have a path. That's actionable. Because a lot of these people, they're not trying to put you on neither one of those things. And yes, that is a failure of the environment itself. Why? A lot of people think that they missed their chance on being something in society. So now they want to damage the actual youth so that way they can stay ahead of the youth of society. That's what they do. They don't teach them how politics works. They don't teach them how gaining power works. They don't even teach them how to be independent of these circumstances. They put them in an actual position so that way they can be codependent. The actual level of codependence. You don't get to the experience by following somebody else who is codependent upon your destruction. You don't get there from it. You don't get there from it. Because I've never heard of quality people, women, come to this space like, yeah, that's exactly what you need to do to get a woman like me. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And you probably will never hear it. You wanna know why? The quality women ain't really here and all that much. No, no, no. They're just trying to get access to the truth who are just now getting it. Which is not a problem, because at the end of the day, most of these dudes are not gonna leave anyway. So that's what that is. This dude's 18 years old. There's no need in messing up this dude's whole life so that way I can have a platform out of it. What kind of dumbass shit is that? Dude, I would never do no whole ass shit. But at the end of the day, anything was promoted by the algorithm. Correct answers are not promoted. Bullshit is promoted. And that's why I say these people have got to be licensed. If you're gonna be giving out this information, hey, you might have to check this information out. Whether it's to a phone, before it circles the globe 100,000 different times in different languages. Again, pretty concise information. The reason why you can't get clear and concise information because they're going to turn you into a permanent resident. That's what they wanted. And it's pretty sad and pathetic where other men sit around and say absolutely nothing while they lead men down this actual rabbit hole on purpose. Hold on a second, got another phone call. Hold on a second. Yep, you are you are really correct about that, too. Really correct. All right, there we go. Let's make sure I can be all of your heard. All right, let me know if you can still be able to hear me. Again, man, I don't know why all these people call it when I start to do live streams. I had no calls for the entire day. The moment I started live streaming, the whole world wants to talk to me. Hit a one in the chat if you can be able to hear me clearly. So can't nobody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hit a one in the chat. You can be able to hear me. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's what that is. Like, bro, if you have to take this whole shit away from it ain't about just leave. At the end of the day, you gotta put these dudes on an action plan that actually works. And you know, because most of these people cannot explain it. Don't try to have these people explain themselves. They get rage, feel mad. They don't know how to act. When you just ask them simple questions about their actual plan, about success for these actual people around you, they don't even know how to do that. Come on, Ike. Because complaining about this teacher entertainment shit, it makes you people popular, but it doesn't help out anybody else in the long run. Because that's not his point. The whole point is to give you placebo-based mindset to keep you busy, to literally keep you busy. That's what this stuff is about. But you gotta be smart enough to give this actual information to these actual people, so that way they don't end up being a part of this complex. And yes, I'm taking this information straight up to the media, so that way they can start checking in on these people who got all this type of information as well. Because it's one thing to just say this stuff online. It's another thing to create a website to do it, but it's also another thing to go to the actual media and alert them about how they're actually preying upon these people who don't have any experience. Because at the end of the day, these people are just trolling for the most broken, the most inexperienced man possible to give them BS statements. And that stuff really doesn't work on it. And it doesn't really work on it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these people can only have a position if there are actually no use to actually It's legal. They're trying to kill the competition, the future productive competition, before they even get off the ground. This is exactly what these individuals are trying to do on purpose. It doesn't even lead to. You got people who are currently married right now in this space giving you information on women that they don't even date as their even social class. And you got everybody else sitting around like it's cool in the game while they do it. You got dudes right now on child support, don't even have access to their kids, turning around trying to give people advice on how to get with women that actually destroy you, which is also crazy. But at the end of the day, it does take a united effort and a united front to actually get rid of this stuff. It isn't just one person. Remember, once Ron Wills came in on that whole shit, and Ella Roger Curry came on that whole shit, that's when like AMS came in on that whole shit. And Don Richard came in on this shit too. But at the end of the day, you gotta know that you gotta have a hand in actually making sure that this stuff don't spread any further. You gotta have an active hand in this stuff. It's like the 1980s. You sit back and let people smoke all this crack and shit, sell all this stupid shit in the neighborhood, and then everybody wanna play dumb like we don't understand what the results are around this actual thing. We got to do better in our generation. Making sure that these people are flying right or there ain't nowhere near it. Because, like, I don't even let none of my nieces and nephews be on this. Okay, I'm just not going to pick a side. I'm just going to be on lottie dottie. I'm just going to do whatever I want to and just going to follow their way. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Either you follow the right path or you getting the fuck out of my goddamn face, stand out of my face and everything takes over. You got to be able to set up hard ass lines. So that way you're not going through this stuff over and over. Again, very simplistic information. Again, there should be a place for actual resources. So that way we can be able to give people the correct answer, step back, and let them go do that. Even if they're doing it improperly, just cut them off. Just talk to them. Yeah. And then this guy looks straight off into your face like this stuff is normal and that this is something that he's running. When he's not running any of this stuff. Then again, those are business people. You have no idea what they're doing, actually behind the scenes. You just know what they put out in front of you. But this is why I don't even like following these individuals all that much because they're in a position to make untenable things look normal. Then again, man, like there's skills and resources piece, that productivity piece that really smoke people out for what they want. They actually don't want to see people actually make it and actually succeed inside the society. They want to feed people to the actual wrong type of women with bad ass results. Because that's what they want to do. I don't see any verifiable reason to be doing stuff like that. What these dudes do now. There's nothing wrong with giving people better information, even if you don't benefit them. At least it's the right answer, the right choice, everything. But then again, a lot of these men, these suspect ass belief systems, these suspect ass lifestyle decisions and choices, these suspect ass associations and affiliations don't even want to give out the basic information so that way the youth can actually succeed. Because they're here to eat the youth just as much as these overly experienced are willing to eat the youth. This is why you got to be sure that you're giving out the best and proper information whenever people come to you. Because guess what? All these emails and shit, they come back up. I tell you what, you're never gonna have my name tied to some shit where somebody who gave me some improper face and false information. They end up messing up their life over it. I don't want to be a part of no shit like that. I don't want to hear this shit like, oh, well, you know what? I'm subscribed for MOT. You been out here and tried all this stuff and it didn't work out for me. Hey man, look, I don't even want to be a part of it. I don't even want to get involved in the FBI or work trying to explain some bullshit that somebody was saying. It's so easy to give the correct answer or even the best basic answer to everything. But a lot of these people, dude, they're too codependent upon destroying the next generation for them to even care about things going right for everybody else because it didn't go right for them. Nobody gave them the right information, so they're not going to bother trying to get anybody else right. But then again, you got people with that hustlers mentality and whatever goes, and I'm not going to correct anything. I'm not going to point anything out. I'm just going to keep all my bullshit associations and connections just so that way I can just sit here and I ain't got to really do this shit for other people. Yeah, what it is. You gotta be very careful and afraid of productive people who just sit around this bullshit like everything's cool in the game too. You gotta be very suspect. People who quote unquote got their shit together who can't uphold basic standards and stand out of fucking the places they expect. Bro, ARC said way worse shit than that y'all don't even know about. This is not lying. But ARC literally said that he would feed every one of you dudes to these fucking women if it meant for his fucking survival. He actually fucking said that. He actually did say that. Oh yeah, man. Like a lot of these people have said worse things. They already tell you that they're scumbags or something. They already tell you these things up front. But you keep pretending like it's not possible for these people to sit here and watch all these things and not say it. But at the end of the day, man, look, I'd rather be responsible for it, say something about it, raise the actual awareness level, and go to these people with the actual information than sit back and try to build a platform off of these broken ass dudes, man. I ain't trying to do nothing like that. Remember, had my money together before I came to YouTube. I don't get nothing out of watching these dudes fail on purpose. I don't get nothing out of that. I don't get nothing out of that. I'm gonna have to do business with these people at some point. At some point, my nieces and nephews gonna have to deal with these people at some point. Wouldn't you actually? He did say it. Yes, he did. He did say it. That's why I didn't like him, right? Because people couldn't really figure that out about him. They only liked his subscriber count and the people that he was trying to help. They didn't see about the overall efficacy of what that dude actually was doing, and they was refusing to look at it that way. That's what we found out. That's what we, but that's what these people start doing. They're trying to make this system keep the way it is. They're not trying to produce better actual individuals. They want to keep it going. And I'm telling you, you're going to continuously hear from these cowardly ass, suspect ass dudes who ain't got nothing to say about how this thing actually is or even trying to change it. They're going to want to see the same system go on because they want to be the cool uncle of tomorrow. A lot of these dudes want to be the cool uncle, give out this basic ass wrong information, don't try to lead these dudes anywhere, and then laugh at their eventual failure. A lot of these dudes on doom patrol, man. They're here to spread doom and gloom. They're not trying to fix anything. They're not trying to make anything better. They're not trying to be more participatory than the last generation. The only thing that they're trying to do is ensure that this stuff stays fair. Because that's all they got, is to make sure they're ahead of the current generation and make sure that they're not trying to create a better generation after they leave. They want to keep these people. They don't mind seeing these people doing this type of stuff again. Again, how hard is getting to the money and leaving problematic people alone? Stop trying to level up those specific circumstances with bad people. That's where we currently are at. But then again, a lot of people have actually taken the bait. And I mean taking the bait of wanting to maintain this current system. And then they want to turn around and blame the women. When I was in Veracruz, this girl cheated on her actual boyfriend. That family ran hands on both of them. They ran hands on the dude that she cheated with, and the women ran hands on the fucking woman who cheated with the actual dude. They both caught him. And they both couldn't come around after they did some sucking shit like that. And again, you think these men in this type of space are going to create a situation like that? For the person to have actual protection from actual eventual betrayal? No. They're going to tell you that it's just part of the actual game, so that way they can benefit off of eventually trying to screw you out. I keep telling you, it's the men that actually maintain this actual system. It's not really the women. That, bro, I don't even worry about it. I don't worry about it at all. I just don't hire them, period. Once I see they on some suspect shit, you just ain't even gonna address it. You can just watch them say shit, try to gain attention, and you just watch them fall by the wayside. It ain't nobody seen me on camera in 2 years. They have no idea what I look like. I haven't been on camera in this space for 2 years. They have no idea what I look like. But that's what happens when you tend to dress up. You have to take the conversation somewhere else where you think you can actually be able to fight. You really can't fight from there either. But these are the type of men who want to be leaders within the space. These are the type of men who don't want to see these things go in a different direction. You just gotta let them fight the way that they can fight. Just come out with better information. That's why I sit here and just laugh at them, my Perry. Like, bro, ain't nobody seen me on camera like at least 2 to 3 years, at least. I don't know what the fuck I do. But I'm supposed to put myself on camera to prove a whole bunch of bitch ass niggas wrong. And once I told this individual this information was so basic and pretty much pretty straightforward that he thought it was a goddamn lie. He thought it was a lie. Like, it can't be that simple. I'm like, it is that simple. It doesn't matter what the women think or what they fucking pick and choose. It's about your outcome. If you want to live your life through waiting on a woman to choose you just because you without having your shit straight, then do you gonna forever be behind the eight ball like the rest of these? Nah, keep them there. No, 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 no. Keep him there. Keep him there saying stupid shit. I want dudes to come to my actual conversation, not to be able to add anything of substance and just say dumbass shit to get attention. That's what I want. I want people to be able to show that they can be pretty much involve themselves in a conversation based on substance. And they have to resort to bullshit in order to actually gain some type of attention. I would never kick these people out of here. Again, I would give the same information to anybody that I met. Most of these homeless kids I see out here in these cities, I give them the same advice. Get them hooked up with actual facilities so that way they can get the fuck off the streets away from their badass fucking parents and get them on the actual road to fucking success. That's the point. They don't want to create better circumstances for anybody. That's what these doom patrol dudes are out here on, man. That's what they out here on. They gonna stay on. They ain't got no other choice. How easy is this information to find? Because at the end of the day, most of these people have already gave up, and they can only have a completed story if everybody else is a shitty. Have to make sure, and I mean absolutely have to make sure these people are not counted among anybody. You got to make sure that their numbers start dwindling very, very fast. You have to start making sure that these people actually explain themselves. The only thing you have to do is corner them. Ask them a simple and basic question. They won't be able to answer it. They won't be able to answer it at all. They will not be able to answer straightforward questions. Because the only thing they got is pushing the same minister dogma among other lost individuals, and that's all they got. Again, I'm just not comfortable taking over the man. I'm comfortable in burning this motherfucking place to fucking ground until I get these niggas fucking started. And I think bringing the media and all these feminists in this motherfucker is the correct way to fucking go about it. Let these stupid motherfuckers go on TV and start fucking explaining this manosphere dogma in front of motherfuckers on TV and see how stupid they fucking are. You will not be able to hide behind these fucking lies. I can guarantee you that. Because at the end of the day, we should not be trying to create a place for dumb niggas to get their shit up. We've already destroyed every other one. Yep, Yuri, I agree. It is about the outcome. And your outcome can't be actually connecting people to bad circumstances, to bad arguments. It can't be active. Now you got fake ass dudes spamming crypto shit today. I just received three of those last week. No reason. I'll put my background up against anybody. Let's see who deserves to be a leader. Let's see who these people should be listening. They just want to garner an actual audience based off garner it most ignorance as humanly possible behind bullshit. Like, nah, man, I'm not gonna let this go. I am not gonna keep that. Again, it's about the outcome. Audio. Oh, what? Should be fixed now. Hold on a second. Settings, audio, Bluetooth. All right. It should be back now. Yeah, man, but you have to be able to just make sure that this shit cannot stand in its current form. Yeah, I had to go out and go back in it. You know, whenever I receive phone calls, it's kind of on and off, whether or not my actual audio comes back for some reason. But yeah, that's what it is. No, man, you just make these dudes start answering some of these questions to these people they misleading, man. Make these people start answering some hard ass questions because they can't answer them. Play these idiotic games with people not being able to answer questions. You can do all this shit behind the scenes, but once people start really coming at your motherfucking head about the shit that you fucking so-called doing in this goddamn space on purpose, and you're an older motherfucker while you doing so, yeah, man, like, yeah, it's way different. Because a lot of people think that they can just hide out from criticism forever by hiding behind as many lost men as possible. I'm telling you, everybody ain't on that type of shit, man. Y'all gotta let me know when I'm not clear, man, so that way I can just restart this Zoom. I mean, this stream got shit, man. I have no idea about it most of the time. I just receive a phone call, and I assume everything's all good. Nothing for me to just open up another actual new tab on the actual StreamYard and get the stream back popping like it needs. That's kind of what we have. Right does the right move under the right moving to the grow itself. Like I said, I haven't even tried. I haven't even tried to translate this shit. I haven't even tried to put most of the graphics behind the shit before I can put behind it. I haven't done none of that shit yet. This is where I'm at, and I haven't even tried. It's supposed to be introspective black men of reform, I think. That's what I thought it stood for. But if I'm wrong, can somebody correct me? Oh, okay, well, I am right. Okay. But if you start running experiments on people, then you ask them not to fall. I know, I know this is very people. Some people How would you guys explain this stuff to the actual other type of PhDs who care about the outcomes of these people? Other PhDs who have like organizations for boys, we're not gonna be able to hide behind these affirmative action hierarchies that keep bullshit stuff in the space. We're not gonna be able to do that. Because natural PhDs call your ass out to your school about the bullshit that you're doing. That's the great thing about having a credential. They can actually take your fucking credential away from you thanks to the bullshit that you're doing online. And I'm willing to go that far to get ready to fuck. A PhD can actually call you out at your school and you gotta take that motherfucker on the subject. Or your ass is the fuck out of there. Yeah. Don't think I already don't know all this shit. Of course I know all this shit. You really think that if you're gonna be teaching at a school calling yourself a G with a PhD? Shit, why don't you try explaining that shit to somebody? But that's kind of where we at, folks. 18-year-old asked a very specific question on how he gets the fuck out of this bullshit. I gave him a specific answer. No bullshit, no chaser, straight up playing the motherfucking action. I'm telling you, a lot of these men you really don't want to fuck with, especially the ones who know that you out here trying to intentionally trying to create dumbass black men at the end of the day. You're that fucking old and you care more about a platform about misleading men than you do trying to get them somewhere. And a whole bunch of these parental organizations get wind of your ass doing this shit online. Bro, what the fuck you think they're gonna do to you? Dude, they're coming after your motherfucking ass. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. When they coming at your head, they coming at your head. That's why President Space leads into a different direction. And all these people who are remnants of the old system, they gotta go. They gotta go. Because I'm not comfortable just calling myself the president. I'm comfortable with calling myself the president and destroying the old one. Both of them. So with that said, I'm in Somerset, New Jersey. I'm gonna walk around on this cloudy ass day. Thank you guys for coming through. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Because for some reason I have like 200 or 300 people who watch the actual live stream, and all of a sudden I have 800 or 900 people who watch the shit over like 2 or 3 days. Like, all right, man. All right. So I want to thank you guys for coming through. And remember tomorrow, you guys have a really nice rest of y'all Sunday.